Your grocery bill does not need a villain in a cape. Sometimes the villain is just heat. Very boring, very expensive. One hot week in the wrong place can damage food months before you buy it. The price rises later, quietly, at the checkout counter. And by then, it feels like the supermarket is robbing you personally. But the real story started somewhere else. In the soil, in the water, in the animals, in the people harvesting the food. Food prices are not just numbers, they are symptoms. When the planet heats up, the system behind dinner starts working worse. Crops grow under stress. Animals eat less. Fish move away. Water becomes harder to count on. Workers slow down because the human body is not farm equipment. Trucks, ports, storage, and electricity all get pulled into the same mess. So this video is not really about food becoming expensive. It is about how heat turns a normal food system into a more fragile one. And once a fragile system feeds billions of people, small failures do not stay small. They travel, they multiply, and eventually they become your receipt. Start with the simplest part, plants. Plants look calm, but they are basically tiny factories. They take sunlight, water, carbon dioxide, and nutrients, then turn them into food. But factories have operating limits. When it gets too hot, the plant has to protect itself instead of growing. It loses water faster. Its leaves wilt, its chemistry gets messy. During flowering, heat can be especially brutal. If the plant cannot pollinate properly, the harvest can shrink before the fruit even exists. That is the first hidden cost: less food from the same land. And when supply drops while demand stays high, prices get nervous. But heat does not work alone. It often brings friends. Terrible friends. Hotter air can pull more moisture from soil. So a field may not just be hot, it may be thirsty. Irrigation can help, but irrigation is not magic. Water has to come from rivers, aquifers, snowpack, reservoirs, and political arguments. When water gets scarce, farmers compete with cities, power plants, and other farms. Some crops can survive. Some crops shrink. Some crops simply become too expensive to grow. So heat does not only reduce food, it changes what food is worth producing. Then come the animals. Livestock are not just walking food machines. They need comfortable temperatures to eat, grow, produce milk, reproduce, and stay healthy. When animals are too hot, they eat less. If they eat less, they grow slower and produce less. Farmers then spend more on shade, fans, cooling systems, water, and veterinary care. The animal may survive, but the cost of raising it rises. And those costs do not politely disappear. They move through the food chain like an awkward family secret. By the time you buy milk, eggs, or meat, heat may already be baked into the price. If you are finding this useful, please give the video a like. And subscribe to the channel if you want more simple visual stories like this. It really helps me a lot, and I truly appreciate it. Alright, now let's get back to the story. Because food does not only grow on land, it also swims. Oceans absorb enormous amounts of heat, and fish notice. When water warms, many species move toward cooler areas if they can. That sounds simple until you remember people built fishing towns where the fish used to be. Boats may need to travel farther. Fuel costs rise, time rises, risk rises. Aquaculture, or fish farming, has its own problems. Warm water can stress fish, spread disease faster, and reduce oxygen. So seafood prices can feel climate pressure too. Not because fish read climate reports, because their habitat is changing faster than our systems can comfortably follow. Then there is labor, the most ignored ingredient in your food. Before food reaches a shelf, people plant it, pick it, sort it, pack it, drive it, and unload it. Heat makes all of that harder. At some point, working outside is not just uncomfortable, it becomes dangerous. People need breaks, shade, water, shorter shifts, or safer schedules. That is good and necessary. Humans should not be cooked for cheap lettuce. But it also means the system needs more planning, more labor, or more money. So heat can raise prices even when the crop itself survives. This is where people often misunderstand food prices. They imagine one simple cause: bad weather equals higher price. Done. But the real system is messier. A drought can reduce harvests. Heat can lower worker productivity. Floods can damage roads. Wildfires can disrupt transport and contaminate air. Power outages can threaten refrigeration. Ports can slow down, insurance can rise, feed can cost more. And supermarkets do not price food based on one farmer having a bad afternoon. They price food based on risk across the whole chain. The more unstable the chain becomes, the more everyone builds in a safety margin. Farmers need to survive bad years. Transport companies need to cover delays. Stores need to avoid empty shelves. And consumers end up paying for a system trying not to break. This is why food inflation can feel so unfair. The person at the checkout did not cause the heat wave. The farmer may not have caused the drought. The truck driver did not cause the flood. But everyone is connected by the same fragile system. And when that system gets stressed, the bill lands somewhere. Usually it lands on the dinner table. Now, this does not mean food will vanish everywhere. The world is not one giant potato that simply burns. Farmers adapt all the time. They change planting dates, switch crop varieties, improve irrigation, protect soil, and use forecasts. Scientists breed crops that handle heat better. Cities can reduce food waste. Governments can build better storage, safer labor rules, and stronger emergency systems. But adaptation is not free. A stronger food system costs money before disaster happens. A weaker one costs money after disaster happens. Either way, heat sends a bill. The question is whether we pay to prepare or pay more to panic later. That is the bigger meaning behind expensive food. It is not just about tomatoes, eggs, rice, fish, or beef. It is about the hidden machinery that turns weather into dinner. For a long time, modern food felt almost magical. Any season, any fruit, any country, neatly packaged, brightly lit. But that magic depends on boring things working well. Stable weather, reliable water, healthy soil, safe labor, working transport, affordable energy. Climate change does not attack dinner with one dramatic punch. It adds pressure to every boring thing at once. And boring things are exactly what civilization is made of. So the next time food feels expensive, the story may be bigger than one store. It may be a tiny signal from a very large system under stress. A hotter planet does not just change the weather outside. It changes the price of ordinary life. And that is why the future of climate change may not first feel like science fiction. It may feel like standing in a grocery aisle, wondering why everything costs more again. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. It really helps me a lot.